This is 2020 with Barbara Walters.
Tonight, the tiny country that hatched a monstrous plot. A top-secret plan to win Olympic gold at any cost. And it worked.
And the 4th gold medal for Cornelia Ender.
Race after race, one gold medal after another. How did they do it? Now damning documents reveal the truth. A fiendish government experiment. Harvesting 10-year-olds, pumping young bodies full of dangerous drugs. Young girls, lied to for years, baffled by their strange body changes.
Ich habe ihn ganz am Anfang nach der Stimme.
I asked them about my voice at the very beginning.
Diese tiefe Stimme da.
Why it was so deep.
A twisted government dream built on bizarre training, forced abortion, and drugs, powerful enough to change this female athlete into a male.
Here's a young female body, and you load it with male hormones.
Elizabeth Vargas with a cruel experiment carried out on young athletes handpicked for the perfect race.
That exclusive hour tonight, October 13th, 2000. And now, from Times Square in New York, Barbara Walters.
Good evening, and welcome to 2020. Before we bring you tonight's story about a secret experiment on children, we have a brief update on the two major stories unfolding in the Middle East, the upheaval in Israel and the attack on the USS Cole. Yet another season of violence in the Middle East has spread its suffering to young Americans and their families. Last night, the Navy began the process of delivering the worst news possible to the families of 17 sailors. 21-year-old seaman Tim Guana's mother says he called just a few days ago, telling her the ship was sailing into dangerous waters, but promising he would be okay. Guana's body was one of the 5 flown from the Middle East to Germany today. The scene there at once familiar and unbearably sad. There are more coffins to come. The bodies of 10 sailors presumed dead are still missing in the wreckage of the blast. The violence has prompted U.S. embassies in the Middle East and Africa to close for the weekend to deter terrorists. In Israel and Gaza, crowds were not quite as violent today, but nerves are still very raw. Of course, ABC News will continue to bring you complete coverage from the Middle East. And now our main story, and when you hear it, you will understand why it deserves the rest of our hour. Could you conceive of a government so arrogant, so ravenous for victory in the Olympics, that it would try to turn young women into virtual men? Indeed, that actually happened. This was a sinister experiment carried out for years on children as young as age 10, secretly using them as laboratory rats for the sole purpose of bringing home the gold. What government was this? Elizabeth Vargas brings us this heartbreaking story. How could it happen? How could we not have known?
I remember seeing these huge shoulders, and I was thinking, oh man, look at the guys, they're really big. And then I noticed a shoulder strap, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the women, we're going to swim against them. I mean, everybody was going, who are these people?
They were called the Wonder Girls, the fastest, strongest athletes ever produced by East Germany.
An upset. Richter of East Germany is the winner.
The U.S. Olympic swim team watched in disbelief as East Germany, a country that had never won a single gold medal in women's swimming, seemed unbeatable in 1976.
Richter Tumor of East Germany is going to win it.
There was a lot of speculation. They've got to be doing something to be making these kind of times.
4:09.89. They have destroyed the world record.
They've got to be taking some kind of drug.
The rumors were rampant. They had to be on steroids. But the East Germans passed every drug test they took. Had they somehow found a way to beat the system?
It's an East German sweep.
You knew. You knew when you looked at them. You knew when you swam against them. Everybody suspected it. Everybody.
everyone, it seems, except the East German Wonder Girls. They didn't know it, but they had been turned into chemical guinea pigs.
You have to understand how isolated we were. We didn't have television or radio. We were known as the uninformed. We didn't hear any of the rumors about doping.
It was an elaborate experiment carried out behind the Berlin Wall in communist East Germany, a country where everything was controlled by the government. A 1,000-mile electrified barrier with 10,000 armed guards made this the most heavily fortified border in the world. Those who tried to escape to the west had to cross a death zone filled with landmines. Hundreds died trying to flee this impoverished dictatorship. It was not the image the communists wanted the world to see, so they devised a plan. It was 1974 when East German officials decided to turn this tiny nation into a superpower in sports. Its athletes would win Olympic gold at any cost. They would fight the Cold War in sports stadiums.
East Germany was not so successful, it was not so rich, this country. So sports was a field where East Germany could show the whole world that this country is also very powerful, very strong. And sports was a very good opportunity to show that.
To ensure victory, they began giving performance-enhancing drugs to all competing athletes, even children as young as 10. The athletes were told they were vitamins, but the little blue pills were oral turinabol, a powerful steroid that allowed athletes to build muscle, train harder and longer, and do it all over again the next day.
You're a doctor. What effect do anabolic steroids have on young girls?
That's, an experiment that is so horrible, if you wish. Here's a young female body, and you load it with male hormones. It was nothing but the use of male hormones to make the female body more male.
The experiment worked beyond their wildest expectations. Karola Nitschke was just 14 when she broke the world breaststroke record.
I can remember getting 10 tablets at a time. 30 a day.
What would happen if you tried to refuse taking some of these tablets? If you said, I don't feel like taking 30 pills, or I'm suspecting that these might not just be vitamins?
You didn't dare say that. You just kept it secret, and you kept taking the pills. I didn't have the guts to say I wouldn't take them. I was just 14 years old.
They treated their young athletes really like objects, you wouldn't do this sometimes to experimental animals.
People would ask, what's wrong with your voice? Do you have a cold? Are you hoarse? I also had huge muscles.
Birgit Motz and her teammates say they were told the muscles were due to the grueling training they endured. In fact, this propaganda film claims the secret to their success was the specialized weightlifting East German trainers had scientifically perfected.
From the very beginning, we were told everything that happens here doesn't concern anyone else. You can talk among yourselves, but we need to keep how we train and what happens here a secret. It was an unbelievably big secret.
But many of the young girls were baffled at what was happening to their bodies.
I started growing a little beard, and it's still like that today. I really have to work to control it. The hair on my leg is like an ape, and my face is like a man.
So at that point, these are very strong changes in your bodies. You're gaining weight, you're getting larger, your voice is deepening, you're growing more hair on your bodies. Did you start to suspect that you were in fact being given steroids?
Was wissen 14-, 15-Jährige über Steroide? What do 14-, 15-year-old kids know about steroids?
Was sind Steroide, was sind Hormone?
What is testosterone? We didn't know. We were young people who trusted adults. We never thought they'd let anything bad happen to us.
It's been more than 10 years since the Berlin Wall, separating East and West Berlin, came down. 10 years since secret documents confirmed what many had long suspected, a dirty little secret.
formerly known as State Plan 1425.
It was a sinister scheme carried out by high-level officials, a master plan to drug the children of East Germany and make them super athletes. But now, a literal mountain of once classified documents discovered in the former headquarters of the East German secret police, the Stasi, reveals precisely how State Plan 1425 was carried out. Journalist Hans-Joachim Seppelt has written a book on what he found in the Stasi files.
I was really shocked. I was shocked how detailed, how organized the whole system was working. It was unbelievable.
We're not talking about the East Germans just saying, okay, let's give all these swimmers one anabolic steroid pill a day. They actually individually calculated each athlete and what they might need to improve their performance, right?
Right.
And it chronicled the side effects, which sometimes weren't so nice.
You can see all in the Stasi files. It's amazing. You can read all. It's like a really, really big story of crimes, what you can read there.
The Wonder Girls, once invincible, now discovered they were victims, betrayed by their government, their coaches, and their doctors, who traded their health for gold medals.
The gold medal is awarded to Rika Reinisch.
Just 1 year after winning 3 gold medals at the 1980 Olympics in Moscow, Rika Reinisch was hospitalized with sky-high testosterone levels and inflamed ovaries. She was 15.
I can't count the number of times I've been in the hospital for gynecological problems and for my heart, which is enlarged because of the steroids. My health is a wreck.
Reinisch is one of dozens of athletes who have come forward to testify against the 2 most powerful men in East German sports, accused of systematically